What you got, man? What you got?
All right, all right. So last week last two big ones. I've hit 5 out of the 6. So I'm going Christian McCaffrey more than 79.5 yards.
Okay.
Daniel Jones rushing attempts over 7.5.
Okay.
Matt Breida under 58 rush and receiving yards.
I like that.
I got Nick Bosa getting his first sack of the season.
Man, he hasn't gotten a sack yet.
Has
Wow.
not gotten a sack yet.
Yeah, he's due, right?
Darren Waller over 45.5 yards. And then Debo Samuel 7.5 targets with Brandon Ayuk. Questionable. I don't think he's going to play in tonight's game. That
That don't
is.
sound too bad. Don't sound too bad.
Nah.
I like the Breida one. I kind of like the Debo Samuel's target one, especially if you don't have no
Brandon Ayuk.
Brandon Ayuk playing. If, but hey,
You know, the guy who's messed up my money these past 2 weeks has been Dameon Pierce. I've bet the over on him. You know, I heard someone say I would never bet the under on Dameon Pierce. But gosh damn it. 50 yards not even 50 yards in the past few games. That is tough. But hardly we have more pressing matters. Welcome everyone to Believe in the Houston Texans. I am one part of your show, Ruben Calvillo. I'm joined by my co-host Hardy Dugan, the handsome man. Got a nice fade, got the beard lined up, looking nice, fantastic. Love to see that, brother. Good that you're taking care of yourself. That matters nowadays, bro. People just let themselves go. They don't care about the fade. They don't care about the eyebrows. None of that, bro. So shout out to us for trying to stay, on top of it. Some more news today for the Houston Texans, if you have not heard. Derek Stingley, placed on IR, will be out the next 4 weeks, dealing with a hamstring injury. If you remember, a hamstring injury is what ended his season last year in his rookie campaign. Back-to-back years, Derek Stingley has proven he cannot be healthy. You're the number 3 overall pick in last year's draft. You deserve some of the bust label that has been thrown your way.
that's tough, man.
It's tough,
rough.
but it's true. Because, Kenyon Green, everyone wants to call him a bust, right? That's fine. He was the 16th pick in the draft?
15th pick in the draft.
15th pick. Derek Stingley, number 3 overall. The first corner taken off the board. He is taken ahead of Sauce Gardner, who one is healthy. And in his rookie campaign, defensive rookie of the year, all-pro nod. It is not looking good for Derek Stingley right now.
It's not. Definitely frustrated. Just because we know with Derek Stingley, from what we've seen, seems like he can be a really good cornerback in this league. But injuries are a factor. It was a factor with him when you drafted him coming out of LSU. But at the same time, I'm not one to really want to hear that, because Texans fans tell me all the time, we don't take no risks. We don't do this. We don't do that. We don't take no risks in anybody.
Mm-hmm.
We don't take no risks. Oh, my God. We trade. Everyone's going crazy now about trading the first-round pick, your first-round pick,
for Will Anderson,
to the Arizona Cardinals for the Will Anderson.
I don't understand that one.
Everyone's going crazy about it right now because we got a boatload of injuries, and it's starting to look like the injuries are going to derail this season. We're only 2 games through. We still got 15, 14 more games to go. And looking at the rest of the schedule, as long as you got CJ Stroud healthy, you get your offensive line healthy, I am going to entrust in DeMeco Ryans to do what he can do.
Yeah.
And I'm going to move forward with it. And if it's only 4 weeks, then hey, it's only 4 weeks. It's frustrating, though. I get it. You get word that Jimmy Ward could be coming back this week.
Yep.
And then it's, if it ain't one thing, it's the other. Then Derek Stingley's on IR for 4 weeks. So hamstring injury that could be a linger. Hamstrings are just lingering injuries.
Mm.
Um, it's upsetting, and I get the frustration. I understand it, but I'm not ready to do any of that bus label reactions. I'm not ready for that.
I mean, you've proven so far in your young NFL career that you cannot be reliable health wise.
Okay.
And now I think with Derek Stingley, thank God it is 4 weeks. Because when we first heard it was 6 to 8, that one had me heartbroken. After I posted the video today, if you haven't, go check it out. I posted that video thinking he was going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. Come to find out, it's only 4. I'm fine by that, but I mean, the injury history is there, going all the way back to LSU. I like how you brought up the risk factor because it was Derek Stingley versus Ahmad Garner, a 6'3" cornerback with all the attributes, no touchdown allowed in college, versus an SEC cornerback who shut down every wide receiver he went up against. Only problem is he's not healthy. And I don't want this, and lower body issues, man. You're a cornerback. You need your lower body to make plays. And the question about Derek Stingley is not about the talent on the field. On the field, we know he can be a superstar if he's healthy, but the past 2 years, it's shown if. I feel like we have to be kind of, stern on this one. This was a number 3 overall pick. The first time Nick Caserio had a high draft pick, and it's, like I mentioned before, it's just not looking good right now. You brought up, the other number of injuries, bro. This is an update of everything that's gone down. Jimmy Ward missed 2 games. Thank God he's back. Jalen Petrie missed a game and a half. He's not going to be there Sunday.
No.
Tavierre Thomas, broken hand. Titus Howard, broken hand. Laramie Tunsil missed the game with the knee. Thank God he's back. Kenyon Green out for the season. Juice Scruggs back in 2 weeks. Noah Brown back in 3 weeks. I mean, that's what, 9-10 names right there, and every single one of the people we mentioned are starters.
It's frustrating, man. Look, the hype, the everything, the whole roller coaster we had of this season. There was a lot of hype going into it, and hell, I mean, I don't care about being wrong. So hey, I had a hot take that the Texans could maybe make the playoffs. That was a hot take. Sure, it looks like a dumbass take right now, but I don't care about being wrong. I'm gonna support my team no matter what. I'm a Texan fan. I'm a fan at the end of the day. I don't care about being right. I don't care about being wrong. Like, that's not. I just don't care. I had a hot take video of Derek Stingley dancing around to be an All-Pro this year.
I had the same thing.
And there's nothing against his ability, like you said. It's just the matter of injuries that can just continue to be problemsome for his career, again, stemming all the way to LSU. So, sure, hindsight 2020. Oh, man, we should have picked Sauce Gardner, man. Oh, man. He was defensive rookie of the year. I mean, I look at that Jets defense, and it is light years different than the Texans defense. And I don't see Sauce Gardner having the same level of success here in a, sure, Lovie Smith ran a zone defense, which is very beneficial to Sauce compared to Stingley. But this year, you've running more mixed, but a lot more man-to-man coverage behind D'Amico Ryans. Is Sauce Gardner going to be able to do what he did his rookie year and whatever this year, in a man coverage scheme? I'm not quite sold on it. Plus, the defensive line for the Jets is a lot better.
That is true.
A lot better. And so, oh, he is gone. What has happened? Oh, no. We have lost. Unless it's me. Is it me? No, it still says we're live. He's gone, boys. It's just a solo show now. I'm sure he'll be back. So, but anyway, no. Derek Stingley has been a big problem. Injuries rise for the Houston Texans. I still have faith, though. I still have faith. I'm not going to throw anybody into the bust label factory. So, Let me see what happened to Ruben. Hopefully everything's okay. We're gonna do just fine though. We're gonna be back on. Little technical difficulties for my podcast listeners. So let's see. Does this work? No, it does not. Huh. Interesting. Restream might be a little. He didn't say bye, right? That's what I said, man. And I can't even click on comments, which is odd. Anyway, I'm going to message him right now and see what happened. But I will say this right now: the Houston Texans, they do have a boatload of injuries. It's tough, man. It's absolutely tough. I am still hopeful too. Appreciated H Town's ultimate. Yeah, I'm still hopeful. I'm a Texans fan. You know, I still got my goggles on at the end of the day. But sure, being realistic, it does not look good right now. It does not. All right, hot takes, whatever I had, all of them look like doo doo takes now. You know, so the Houston Texans definitely got themselves into some trouble. We will be playing the Jacksonville Jaguars this Sunday. People are asking, are we going to see our first win this Sunday? It's going to be tough, man. And hey, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back.
This, I apologize, brother.
No problem, no problem, no
How
problem.
were the comments?
I was looking at some of the comments. I was just answering some of them. So, you know, we were just talking about someone had asked about if we see our first win on Sunday, and that's I don't know.
What's going on, boys? I see the comments now. I wasn't seeing it on my screen. That's why I was tweaking a little bit.
Oh, okay. I
So
was
yeah,
seeing it
seeing
just
them
fine.
now, it said we had 0 people commenting. I was like, bro, what is going on, bro? If we win this game against the Jags, the most Texan thing ever, right? You keep on getting hit with bad news. Me and my company gave out 2,000 pints of red diamond
20,000.
iced tea when yeah. No, it is depressing. Talking about the game against the Colts, I was depressed seeing that game. You know,
Tough, man.
I called it a must win, right, for the city. But I think this is a true test to our head coach, D'Amico Ryans. If there is anyone that can overcome an 0-2 start and 9+ injuries to all over your lineup, it is D'Amico Ryans. And he's not running away from the grind. His quarterback is not running away from the grind. But I think this will be a great test for our head coach.
Yeah, I think so too. Sorry, I was looking at something else.
You good.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I think at the end of the day, we're gonna figure out how good D'Amico Ryans is as a head coach. You know, the honeymoon phase is over, right? And sure, I love D'Amico Ryans as a player. I wanted him here as a coach. I thought he could do the job very well, successfully. We're 2 games in now, man, and the honeymoon phase is over, and it's time to actually start judging him with your eyes. All right, 2 games in so far. To me, he got outcoached by Shane Steichen. I understand he possibly didn't game plan for a Gardner Minshew, but Steichen was just cutting him up. I mean, it was kind of embarrassing at times. So I'm thinking, hey, backup quarterback, sure, it's Gardner Minshew. We've done well against him in the past. It's not like he hasn't done well against us, especially in NRG. He's accustomed to it. He's used to it. But I thought we could have performed a lot better. That's easy to say. Week 1, he had an amazing performance against the Baltimore Ravens. So we're looking at 2 weeks where inconsistent weeks. Now week 3 should be what? Back to a good performance if we're going on to this roller coaster type of ride with him. I need more consistency from him. I need, the going forward on 4th downs when he did with the Ravens. Some were okay. They're not bad. I don't mind going for it on 4th down. You got to have better play calling, though, from your offense. And that's one thing that you got to look at, too, when you're judging D'Amico Ryans, because he's ultimately putting that trust into Bobby Slowick, that, okay, he's going to have the right play for me. And I'm sure D'Amico's like, hey, I trust you.
Yeah.
We don't know this, but I'm just assuming, Bobby Slowick had some shit plays on 4th down, man. So, it's 2 games in, and as of right now, D'Amico's definitely got the rest of the season to be judged. But like you said, if anybody, I'm going to entrust myself into D'Amico Ryans. I'm going to entrust that this Texans organization hopefully gets their ass out of the gutter, gets healthy,
Mm-hmm.
and could start winning some games. Hopefully, string a few.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. If you steal this one against the Jags, bro, like
Mm.
it would be great. But going back to what we were talking about before my computer was messing up, Nick Caserio, this morning there was so much get rid of Nick. He needs to be fired. He should be on the hot seat. Do you agree with any of those? Because when I look at let's look at his draft classes, right? And shout out to the Brown Chubby Bear for getting all the draft classes together. And here we go. I'm gonna ask you, Harley. I'm gonna give you the name of Nick Caserio's first two draft classes. Tell me if they were successful or not. Davis Mills.
I mean, backup quarterback. I don't know what the. I don't even know how to judge that. Like, what was the viewpoint of him? Were you drafting him thinking he was going to be your next quarterback? I just don't like drafting a quarterback immediately after you got rid of Deshaun. So you know what? I'll say unsuccessful.
Nico Collins.
To be determined.
Brevin Jordan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Garrett Wallow.
Oh, cut. I mean,
Roy Lopez.
sad one, buddy. Cut.
Okay, let's go to last year's Derek Stingley.
To me, it's still to be determined.
Kenyon Green.
Ugh. That's a tough one, man. Especially given with all the other circumstances around it. Because you initially had, I believe, the 12th pick or something like that, 13th pick. You traded down just 2-3 spots. Man, he's so young to say bust. I'll just say, and people are going to hate me. I'm going to say to be determined. I don't care. Hate me.
Jalen Petrie.
Stud.
John Mechie.
We haven't seen nothing of him. That's unfair.
Christian Harris.
To be determined.
Damian Pierce.
I'll say stud.
I agree. Thomas Booker.
Oh, cut.
Tegan Quitoriano.
I mean, again, it's not kind of unfair to get into these 5th round to 7th round guys.
Yeah.
None of these guys usually either A, make the team, practice squad guys, or depth guys. And
well, isn't the later rounds Nick Caserio on the Patriots' way? Don't they find guys supposedly, right?
But see, now that's where Texans fans, and I'm not classifying you into this.
For sure.
But that's where a lot of Texans fans want to say, well, this is Nick Caserio's specialty. Well, people told me that Bill Belichick was the guy drafting. It wasn't Nick Caserio. So now which one is it? And that's what I get a little upset is, oh, now it was all Caserio that did everything in New England. When we've known for years it's been Belichick. Sure, Caserio had input.
Yeah.
But we've been told forever that it's always been Bill Belichick. So, I mean, it is what it is. TQ, though, I don't know. That's wash. I don't know.
I put it TBD because
yeah, right.
Yeah,
I guess so.
Austin Deckles bust.
No, fuck that guy.
So,
God, they didn't say that.
Free agency. I think the most successful free agent that Nick Caserio has had is either Steven Nelson or Tavierre Thomas, who Tavierre Thomas was signed in 2021 from the Cleveland Browns. Besides that, you brought in a lot of hype, Philip Lindsay, Mark Ingram.
Oh.
Man, we were hyped for Philip Lindsay, bro.
Hey, I'm thinking I'm going to get Denver Broncos.
Got me excited.
He did too. Thought we got Denver Broncos, Philip Lindsay.
Now, this year's free agents, I'm not going to grade them yet 2 weeks in. You know, I like what I see from Sheldon Rankins. Dalton Schultz, you got him a little bit more involved. There was one play where Dalton Schultz was wide open, and CJ Stroud finds him, throws it, but it gets tipped by Indianapolis Colts player. Would have been like a 30, 40 yard just gain, bro. And that that gets me excited about CJ, right? I see all that adversity he's going through. No, like literally no offensive line. Would you say this offensive line is worse than last year's week 1?
Yes, way
100%?
worse. 100%.
Agree.
I mean, we're
Agree.
talking about practice. We're talking about practice squad
Agree.
guys. All right. I mean, this is way worse than last year's.
So, went off topic there, but going back to Nick Caserio, you think he deserves a hot seat?
I definitely do believe it should be worn.
Okay.
Um, I look at not only the draft, I just look at free agency in total. It's tough to judge him year one just because of being handcuffed. Can
And
it's tough. That's a tough one for me. I know a lot of people throw it in there. And like, oh well, he should have got more undrafted free agents, bro. What is that going to do for you?
mm-hmm,
I mean, what's the difference between an undrafted free agent and some 1 year deal he gave out? What's the difference?
that's true.
I mean, oh well, we could have got more losses. So what? I mean, this team
Only
was
7 wins
horrible.
in 3 years, man.
I mean, this team was horrible regardless. What, you wanted to be 0-17 and get the first pick overall? Like, is that what you wanted? You would have probably got Aiden Hutchinson then.
Mm.
Cool. That sounds great. Hindsight sounds fantastic. Do we know they get Hayden Hutchinson? What if they get Trayvon Walker?
Oh, I'm sick to my stomach. I mean,
I'm sick.
I would have felt the same way I feel now with Derek Stingley behind. I'm sorry, with Sauce Gardner behind Derek Stingley, right?
Ish, yeah, ish. But I would feel more that way if it was a Trayvon Walker pick. That these are all hypotheticals, but I mean, I'm looking at his free agency, not just year one, but I'm looking at the last 2 years. And this year was a little rough. It was an okay free agency just
Mm.
on paper wise. Now, obviously, we can't judge too much into that because it's only been 2 games. We're trying to see how it translates onto the field. But last year, I mean, not only that, but some of his small trades.
Let me give
I
you
mean, Mark.
last year's free agency.
I mean, it wasn't much. Sure, Steven Nelson, that was a great pickup, and that's been your best pickup. A guy that you just took a chance on and gave him a 1 year deal, and then gave him a contract extension. I
That's true.
mean, that's really about it. What, Conor Grugier-Hill was solid signing 2 years ago, but we don't care about him.
Now he's
I
balling
don't
out
care.
with the Eagles.
Cool. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know how much he would have fit with D'Amico. I don't know. Did he even want to be here? I
Mm.
mean,
He asked for his release. Remember?
exactly. So, the debacle of Brandon Cooks. He should have traded Brandon Cooks a lot sooner.
Yep. You
Should
could
have
have got a
got him
second.
for. And everyone goes, "Oh, they're only 6 or 7 round picks, Harley. Don't worry about it." Okay, I no sure they're cut guys, maybe they're depth guys or practice squad guys, but I'd rather take my chance with a 6th or 7th round pick
Mm-hmm.
than Ryan Izzo or Ryan Finley or whatever else they traded down there for a bunch of nobodies. Like,
We had
sure,
Chester
his
Rogers.
who
Chester Rogers,
the fuck was that?
a wide receiver for the Houston Texans.
Did he
Marlon
play
Mack.
Yeah, Marlon Mack. Oh god. I
So it
mean,
goes Mario Addison. I was excited for Mario Addison. I'm not gonna lie, I
he's a
was.
good veteran.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he had left in the tank.
Obo Okorokno
I liked him. I
had
thought
a
he
good.
played solid.
He's playing good for the Browns right now. I'll tell you that.
Sure is.
Hey, the Browns. Hey, I mean, they're the only ones giving me hope. Like Deshaun Watson is that bad. Massage Watson. I'm sorry. Two face mask and a shoving the ref moment. And I'm not sure if you saw, but apparently he made a burner account called Free Watson, and I mean, everyone was like, "Oh, this is clearly Deshaun Watson." Nick Caserio is the only scenario. Shout out to Landry Locker for bringing out that phrase a couple of years ago. Man, dude, the hype around Nick Caserio was, this is a dude who's been around multiple Super Bowls. And there was a lot of hype around him. Remember, there was the tampering that we got hit with.
I still do believe that if the Texans would have got Nick Caserio when they had Bill O'Brien before he got into GM, I still believe that we wouldn't be in the situation we might be in right now. Um, that's a deep conversation for another time.
That's a high conversation. That's a
Yeah,
conversation. You just hypotheticals right there, right? But
take a good. You remember?
I
That's
love
tough,
those
man.
conversations. I would be like, I was like, you remember when the Houston Texans went like to three straight overtime games? You know, one on Thanksgiving, one against the Jag. You know, these moments like that you get excited about. But it's a sad podcast, man. Right? You are announcing that Derek Stingley, who we are all expecting, man, for him to be a superstar if healthy, goes down for 4 weeks. Then the Nick Casario, we want him gone. And I mean, I understand it, right? You only have 7 wins in the past 3 years. There is no more Bill O'Brien. This is Nick Casario's team right now. And you're 0-2 to start the season. I mean, yes, you have. It's like every time I want to blame Nick Casario, it's like there's some stuff going on with the organization. Like when he came in, Deshaun Watson was going on. Did anyone really want to come here and play for the Houston Texans? Right now, it's like I wanna like I want to give him some negative reviews, but half this team is hurt, right? I don't want to say
Yeah,
0-2 was his fault when I can't blame him for 10 plus starters going down.
it's true. It's a tough cause and effect there. Like sure, I want to say that Nick Casario has a warm seat and could be getting
Mm-hmm.
hotter as we speak, but look at the amount of injuries. Look at. I mean, he had the quote from what almost a month ago, where about the process and
Mm-hmm.
you know, I, it's just a lot of people were making fun of that quote, but I mean, ultimately, what is the process right now? There's a lot of guys injured. That's out of his control. He can't control injuries. So ultimately, that quote kind of sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's tough to overall give him a judgment day, when the injuries are stacking onto each other. It's gonna go into the end of the year,
Yes.
near the end of the year, where you're finally like, oh, okay, you know what? So we got a full resume now. He can't survive another head coaching whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
to me, this is really, I thought this would be his year to make some noise a little bit and get us out of the gutter. But if this team is oof, if this team is only got 3 wins at the end of the year,
It's
I
gonna
mean, you got to
sting,
fire
man.
Nick Casario. You got to fire Nick Casario. You have to. It's not on D'Amico. D'Amico, we all know, has a lot of hype, has a lot of build around him, and players love him. Everyone loves him. National media loves him. But we go all the way back to 3 years ago. I mean, we weren't supposed to hire Nick.
No.
Supposed to hire another what's his name? Nick
Omar
Khan?
Khan.
Omar Khan. Not Nick
Omar
Khan.
Khan.
Not the WWE guy. Omar Khan. I mean, he was a cap specialist with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Possibly, who knows? Since he's a cap specialist, probably brings in somebody to run the football operations side of it and have a kind of co-GM ish kind of tandem. That would have been fun. I mean, I don't know if that's much better than right now, but I was not happy when they hired Nick Casario because I wanted to get away from the Patriots limelight. I
Nick
wanted to get
Casario's the
away from that.
last like lineage to that here.
Yeah, and I really do want to flush that out of this system. I do. It feels like it's still in our system, and we've been taking laxative pills, trying to shit out all of it, but it's just there. You just got a little bit left, and you're trying to get this out of your system. And I don't know, man. It just definitely feels like there could be a lot more things that could have been
Could go
better.
wrong. Okay.
Or, well, like in the last 3 years, I think there could have been things that we could have done better
Mm.
than what we originally had and been doing with Nick Casario. Mind you, David Coley, Lovey Smith, that right there is just David Coley, period, Lovey Smith, period. Like, regardless of rumors, regardless of what we know and what fans know, at the end of the day, Nick Casario hired David Coley and Nick Casario hired Lovey Smith.
Almost hired Josh McCown.
I don't want to get into that.
Do you remember the days? Dude, okay, I can recall exactly where I was when we hired Lovey Smith. It was a Sunday. I was fishing with my cousins, and I was just thinking, if this team hires Josh McCown, I do not know if I could be a fan of this team. Now, this was me with the channel, and I'm like, I don't know how I could get here and sit in front of these people and say I believe in the direction of this organization, but it almost happened, Harley. It was that real to we almost had a dude straight out the NFL jump right into the coaching staff.
Those were dark days, and
I got
the
scared. I was like, we're about to become the Cleveland Browns.
I mean, does that has to be thrown at Nick Casario? That has to be on the resume. Like, that has to, when you judge him, you got to look at those things.
Yep.
Besides free agency draft, sure, we could all look at that and we could all have our opinions on that. To me, it's whatever with the free agency and the draft. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
some goods, a lot of bad, but overall it's been like average to below average. But I look at the head coaching stuff and I look at all the stuff leading into Lovey Smith. I mean,
You didn't
it
even try to
just
hire a head coach.
no, you didn't. You didn't hire none of the top candidates at that time. So this has to go against Nick Casario. This I didn't want Lovey Smith. I thought that was going to be a I remember I had this guy that has an Instagram page. I can't remember it right now. But I mean, he was like, "Oh, the Texans should hire Lovey Smith." And I told him, "Dude, that's dumb. Why would they want to hire Lovey Smith? That is a ridiculous hire." And then they ended up doing it. And I'm like, "Dude, why?" And it's ridiculous. And then you go to this Josh McCown crap, and it was like, no, why? Why are we doing this?
I
I
wonder
know this
how
organization isn't that bad.
it felt like it, bro. Like, and I wonder how much of a possibility that was that Josh McCown was going to be the head coach.
I don't know. The overall nature of Nick Casario at GM definitely has a warm seat. It's getting hotter,
Mm,
and it's upsetting. It is frustrating as a fan of a Texans team that you feel like has the upswings
yep.
with the hiring of D'Amico Ryans. Like, definitely feels like the arrow is trending upwards with that hire, with picking CJ Stroud. You took a chance on Will Anderson with the trading and whatnot. I'm down for it. But it definitely feels like there was a lot left on the bone, per se, for the Texans to do something before they hired D'Amico Ryans.
Mm-hmm.
It's upsetting to me.
And I feel like this team is just one move away from really getting into their groove. Whether that's an addition by subtraction, maybe it is Nick Casario. Maybe you have to get rid of him to really get onto this D'Amico Ryans era of Houston Texans football. Because we still know who's making the decisions, right? We still know at the end of the day, Nick Casario has a huge say of what goes on in the building. But now that you're 2 games in, 0-2, and the same stuff that happened last year and the year before that keep on happening now. And like you said, Nick Casario is not going to get another head coach. Casario will be fired before D'Amico Ryans is even in the conversation about getting let go. So it's like, is Is Nick the reason why this team isn't successful, man? We have an incompetent owner with no balls. Absolutely not. Cal McNair has really changed his image. Brought
Yes.
along his wife Hannah McNair. I love the McNairs. Pretty sure Harley does too.
Yeah.
They really understand what the city feels like, and for billionaires to walk up and down training camp and have honest to God conversations with people in front of them, I can see genuine people in those two.
Yeah, they're cool people. And not just sure we have like a relationship with them, but put that aside. Cal
Mm-hmm.
McNair has refreshed himself in front of the Houston fan base.
100%.
He's refreshing now. It's a breath of fresh air. I couldn't say that a few years ago. It was tough. It was very like, does he know what he's doing?
Mm,
Where I could see comments like that, and I probably wouldn't disagree. And now I'm like, no, it's a full disagree. It definitely feels like he has a sense of what he's doing. I won't say he's smart. I'm not saying he knows everything about football or anything, but I definitely feel better about him as the owner.
100%. And as we come to the end of the stream, right? Very, very, sad connotations we got
Mm.
going on here. Losing Stingley, having conversations about your GM, only week 3 into this season. But this could all go away with the W. And if
Oof.
there's any team that can get a W in a situation where it just looks lost, it would be this team to go out there and beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we would be out here saying, what is going on? And I just need to see it happen. I'm, away at Jacksonville, no Stingley. So Calvin Ridley, who is going to guard him, is going to be Graylin Arnold. But nonetheless, as we end the stream today, Harley, let them know where they could find you.
You can find me at the lead underscore HOU. Type it into anywhere on your social media platforms. We also do Believe in Texans, so make sure y'all are checking out the Believe in Texans podcast anywhere where you stream all your podcasts. Believe is spelled BLEAV. Make sure you're tapping in, tuning in. If you missed this episode, you can replay it on Spotify. Believe
Yes,
in
sir.
Texans podcast.
Thank you guys so much for being a part of today's stream. Sorry that my computer was messing up. We'll get that fixed. Nonetheless, you can just look me up, 713 Houston Sportcast in the search bar. Guys, y'all have a very blessed rest of your Thursday night. Have a safe weekend. Me and Holly will probably be back before then previewing the game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But y'all do me a favor and y'all